Hey everybody, Jason Salas here, and it is Fiesta Friday. We continue to celebrate KUAM's Diamond Anniversary, 60 years on the air. Thank you for having us into your home for those 6 decades. All right, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. This is Peter Gervacio, and he is a game developer. Now, I know a thing or two about software, and Pete, I must tell you, video game development is an entirely different animal than building like a billing system or a web page or anything like that. It requires a lot of expertise, a lot of patience, and a lot of tools. And that's the reason you're here tonight, because the game you're working on right now, you're trying to get some crowdfunding going and trying to get Guam to support you to make your vision come true for your project.
Yes, and so the campaign is it's an Indiegogo campaign, and it's called Game Development for Guam. And the game that I'm trying to develop through it is called Alone on Earth. And it's pretty much a story-based game, and it's kind of like a old school style, like a Legend of Zelda, and kind of has kind of a Monster Hunter feel to it, kind of thing.
Now, I've played this game because when I first met you about a year ago at a hackathon, you were like, "Hey, check this out. This is what I'm working on." I was blown away. I mean, like I said, I'm a lot older than you are, so like the 8-bit feel and the side scroller, you face the boss at the end of the level and everything. That's what I grew up playing and everything. So it pays a lot of homage to that era of gameplay, but it's got a lot of modern features too that make it applicable to modern mobile gaming.
Oh yeah, so what I've explained to a lot of people is that with the modern indie games, a lot of them, they're very low budget, but what really stands out in them is the content. And so when I'm creating my game, I'm trying to create a story, trying to tell a story that is basically similar to other indie games that have come out, but it has a uniqueness to it and has a twist, and it's one of those games that you would play like you were reading a book.
Mm-hmm. What have you found interesting, and how have you grown, and what have you learned after having envisioned this project, laid it out, and then actually started to put it together?
Well, I started very small. I mean, when I graduated from UOG about a year ago, I wasn't really as game efficient as I am now. UOG doesn't really teach you how to make games. They teach you the basics of computer science, but you have to kind of go out there and learn on your own. And so when I started very small. I started with a basic character, and I said, hey, okay, so this is a basic character. Can I get him to move? He's like, okay, so now he can move. Let's go put him in a world. And I said, well, let's go make things in this world work. And from there, it just kept getting built up more and more and more. And now it's become a full level 1, and it's basically a game engine I've designed from the ground up. And based on that, I could take that and pretty much put into other levels of the game and have it work pretty well from what I've seen. I mean, I went from the beginning of creating this game to I went to EpicsCon just a few weeks ago, and I made a challenge for myself to make an arcade version of the game overnight, and I was able to successfully do it. So I was able to take my level 1 story and basically compress it into one level 1, where it was basically like challenging the smallest bad guy to the strongest bad guy all the way through, and I was able to show that off at EpicsCon.
And have you always had a passion for video games, and kind of like what's your background with gaming?
So I've always been a video gamer. So I grew up when I was 4 years old. My dad bought me my first Game Boy, and from there on it just kept on going. And it really didn't become a thing for me to make video games. I always loved playing video games, and I've always loved story games especially. And so when I was about to graduate UOG last year, I said, well, what can I do with my degree on this island? And so it was about that time that Flappy Bird came out, and I took a look at this game, and I said, hey, this game is the top-selling game in the world right now. Or not even the top-selling, it's a free game, and its advertising is bringing in so much money. And the idea that this game is basically a basic template for any game you can create. I mean, this is like game design 101, like here's this template, make a game with it. And this guy did it, and he's made millions off of it. And the idea that nobody...
50 grand a day.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that nobody on Guam has done that, I mean, it's weird to me. I mean, I look around and there's a lot of creatives on Guam. There's musicians that are making music, there's artists that are making art, but I don't really see anybody making video games. And so when I look at those kind of creatives that are around, I said, these people can make content all together. And right now I'm working with the band The Moment You've Been Waiting For. I'm talking to a local art group called Malice Inc. And we're all talking about creating something that's basically made to make money. And it's going really good.
Okay, well, we got to head out, but tell people where they can at least see your game, even though if it's in a beta stage, and then let people know about your campaign, where they can help you out.
Okay, so the campaign is at Indiegogo, and if you look for game development on Guam, you can check me out at Facebook at Square Isle Studio. and pretty much that's where I post most of my content is Square Owl Studio on Facebook, and there's content being uploaded daily. So I try to keep on top of everybody, and I try to give everyone shout outs that contribute to the campaign or share whatever I put up there. So
very cool. And there have been a few game projects that have been launched on Guam over the years and everything. Yours is right at the top of the list, in my opinion.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed playing, and I can't wait to see where you go with this. And by the way, in my opinion, for what it's worth, because I'm an old guy and everything, best video game that was ever written was for the Game Boy, since you brought it up, Final Fantasy Legends. That was amazing.
I'm a Link's Awakening kind of guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's where my origins come from
I can play some
game,
Excitebike on the old school NES, especially since it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty good in Excitebike. All the modern stuff and everything, way over my head.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
No problem.
good luck.
All right.
All right, please stay tuned, everybody. We are back right after this.